In this episode, enjoy the perks of living in a smart city. Savor the most enticing and alluring Spanish regional cuisine. Discover some lesser-known Asian art collections. Explore the future of workplace and see how designers reimagine office spaces. And celebrate a lifetime of devotion to antique appraisal. Hey Veron, I really can't remember the last time I used a 1,000 Hong Kong dollar note. Do shops even take them now?
That's right. Every time I go shopping, I take out my $1,000 banknote and they reject it right away. It's very annoying. I'm sure that nowadays they have more convenient payment methods.
There's an ongoing trend in customers' growing expectations, and that's why mobile payment technology has to keep revolutionizing itself to cater to users' needs. Recently, one of Hong Kong's most popular cashless payment providers has upgraded their mobile payments stored value limit from 1,000 to 3,000 Hong Kong dollars. The new feature also allows users to make payment of up to $3,000 for each transaction at designated retail outlets, taking cashless shopping to a new level.
You know, Des, a lot of people have become grounded lately and don't have a lot of opportunities to travel. But a silver lining is now they have the chance to participate in local tourism, which is a great alternative to travel.
I agree. It kind of forces people to stay where they live and learn about their own place. So this kind of forces them to do that. But let's be honest, a lot of these local tours focus on a place's history and culture, and that can be a little bit boring sometimes. So let's do something different today. Although we're in Hong Kong, let's imagine that we're traveling to southern Spain and going on a local food tasting tour. This place is pretty special. Even if you're familiar with Spanish cuisine, you may not have heard of it before. It's called Andalusia. Well, Lena, in case you're not familiar with Andalusia, let me be your tour guide. As the second largest autonomous community in the country, the southernmost Spanish province sits in a unique location on the map in between Europe and Africa.
Right, and because of that, this southern region has been influenced by a multitude of flavors. That's why traditional Andalusian cuisine has so much to offer. There's something for everyone.
Most special ingredients are the spices. The use of the spices in Andalusia is common from the last 500, 600 years ago. We use cumin, we use cloves, we use cinnamon, and this is because the last historical period where the Muslim was in the region, there was 800 years ruling all the Andalusia region, and they bring the spices before Europeans start to think about that, to think about discover the new ways to bring the spices and go down the market.
Famous for its miles-long beaches, Andalusia is the destination for travelers looking for a few days of rest by the sea. But did you know that this southern region is also the destination for seafood lovers? In Andalusia, sardine is most commonly char-grilled and served with a bell pepper salad or on a toast. But here, Chef Antonio serves it with roasted sweet peppers and extra virgin olive oil for some extra aroma. Not only does the smoked sardine fillet boast an unparalleled fresh and savory aroma for the dish, but it also brings upon an indescribable satisfaction to the taste buds. A simple but perfect combination.
Des, what I love about partaking in a local tour is that I can get to know some of the history and culture of a place. So what about our tour in Andalusia this time? I am ready for a history lesson.
Well, the earliest record of this beef oxtail dish can be found in the 1st century during Roman times, and since then, it's become one of the most famous dishes in Andalusian cuisine. So we definitely have to try it.
I can tell this oxtail has been braised for hours because it's so tender and aromatic. Thanks for the recommendation.
they call tocino de cielo. Literally, translation will be like a heaven's bacon, something like that. Okay, because the texture is a hard jelly, so remind you the belly of the bacon, but the flavor is like bring you to the heaven. It's probably something that really describes the cuisine in Andalusia. It's something really simple. There is no big sophistication, but it's really amazing.
I'm really happy with today's tasting experience because it feels like I really traveled to Andalusia to try the regional dishes, along with some traditional flavors too. What about you, Des?
Lots of pleasant surprises today. I think in Hong Kong, when we have Spanish food, most of the time we're having some variation of paella or iberico ham or roast suckling pig, but the dishes today were quite different. Lots of heavy aromas and flavors, very well suited to my palate. Let's try the dessert.
Okay.
Colors carry different meanings from culture to culture. Not only do colors influence emotion, but they also symbolize or provide different perspectives on life. And to some artists, color is also one of the most exciting aspects of visual communication that allows them to bring their audience to discover the world of art. When we talk about Asian art, especially contemporary Asian art, we immediately think of artworks that are coming from artists from Japan, Korea, China, etc. Why do you think Thai artists also need us to pay attention to them?
Well, if you think about the Asian continent, it comprises 48 countries. Of course, unfortunately, the art scene is often equated with the art market. Therefore, countries which are more prosperous gets more prominently featured. However, it's always been our intention since we moved to Hong Kong to showcase artists from countries which are not usually exhibited in Hong Kong, whether it's Iran, Pakistan, Thailand, Kazakhstan, Cambodia. And this is part of, as I say, our interest in our small contribution to the local scene is to provide a platform for artists that are not usually exhibited in this region.
So Mit Jae-in is considered by many to be a pioneer artist for Thai contemporary art. Can you tell us more about that? We would like to know more.
Yeah, Mit is really one of the mentor to a lot of young artists and also artists in Thailand. He's been such since 1992 when he came back from his time in Europe. He spent 6 years in Europe.
And what makes him so different? You say that he's from northern Thailand, is that right?
Yeah, so his family originally is a ethnic young family. They came from China to Myanmar into Thailand and settled in an area around Chiang Mai. In the tradition, they were working for the royal family. And so I think that background is quite important for him in terms of technique, use of color, use of manual skills as well. And it shows in some of his painting, like in the Wall Works Royal Marketplace, which are the largest work in the show.
It really shows his experience. Can you tell us what's your favorite art piece from him?
It's a difficult choice in a sense. As I said, I do like very much these almost interactive works, like the works that hang from the ceiling, where you can walk through the work and sort of feel, and the tactility and the works are very tactile, and there is a lot of materiality and physicality to the way he applies the paint.
It's also very playful. I really like how the color is really vibrant.
It is very vibrant. I mean, Mit wakes up in the morning, I say he dreams in color, and he wakes up in the morning, he closes his eyes and it's all color, and for him color is a constant presence in his life, and he paints mostly at night under LED light, and so there is this kind of almost they're very vibrant. There's almost like a technological aspect to it, even though they're still very physical in it.
Color is an alternative way to express our emotions in our artwork. As you can see in this art piece, it's very vibrant. So color is really a tool of communication and language as well.
After the break, visit a high-end and luxury co-working space in town. And get wisdom and insight from an experienced antique appraiser.
As long as people have been working, there's been talk about how to increase productivity. And in the same sentence, people probably say, well, to increase productivity, you have to increase creativity. So how do you increase creativity? Well, there are lots of ways. For example, you can get different staff to do each other's jobs for a day. That might generate some new ideas. Or you get all your staff to take part in a creative activity. I say the physical environment where your staff work can also play a big part in their creativity.
A flexible workplace does help us become more productive and creative. However, the atmosphere of the place is also very important. So the key to success is design. I'm talking about a spacious and flexible interior design.
I think the flexible workspace concept fits exactly the culture in Hong Kong because in terms of office rental, Hong Kong so far is still the highest city in the world. So then the cost efficiency is a very important element to drive the interest of flexible workspace usage. And on the other hand, Hong Kong is all the time a very international and very diversified city. So people working here, they're also seeking flexibility. So flexible workspace provided not only space-wise and also rental-wise. Nowadays, even from the user's expectation, they want to have more collaboration. They want to have more mobility and flexibility. So this also changed our design. Our office design, we always focus on humanity. We including the adjustable standing desk, which is focused on the healthy way of working for the users. In the public area, we also focus on the comfortable and the relaxed elements. That's applied to all of our latest design in the last 3 to 4 years. We create more spacious workspace and also for more collaboration design. And then in terms of the design element, you are not only focused on office layout. Actually, there are also sound, light, material, and smell. We have all these different elements to bring the space. People can be more focused, and when they come to the public area, they can be more relaxed. So in the future, the design for flexible workspace will extend the original purpose, which is to suit the demand. My perspective on the future design, we will focus more on mobility, flexibility, humanity, and more on the high tech. So all these elements will be more and more reflect to the future design. Flexible workspace actually benefiting the user for their working efficiency. So you work in flexible workspace compared to working in cafe, you're actually surrounded by more professional. This also shows the flexible workspace actually provides much better communication, much better efficiency compared to work from home. The reason why flexible workspace will be the future solutions for a lot of companies.
Wow, Desmond, once I came in here, I feel that it's very spacious and cozy. You know, in a traditional working environment, all the colors are very
Gray,
yes, concrete and static. But actually here, I feel that you can work seriously, and also when you want to take a break, you can make a coffee. Really, there's no stress.
I find the place super relaxing. I like this lounge that we're sitting in. It's got a nice vibe, and I don't know, lately I'm unable to sit for long periods, so I like to work a bit and then get up, stretch my legs, maybe get a coffee.
Meet some friends.
Of course. Oh, I have a message. I'm gonna go back to work. Don't get distracted meeting too many friends. Get some work done.
We all have an item that holds great personal value. Take antiques as an example. To some, an antique is an old-fashioned collectible that is generally rare, historic, and a sought-after item that is often acquired for its investment value. But to Antoine, a passionate antique collector, an antique is more than an item to complete our alternative investment portfolio. It's also where his family history begins.
Antoine, most of your antique collection is from an Asian background. Now, what attracts you to preserve Far East Asian culture, coming as a collector from a French background?
As a Frenchman, my interest for Asian antiques comes from a family tradition. My grandmother and my father were both in the business, and it was the main conversation topic at home. So I always lived surrounded by art and by people talking about it. It's also important to say in France and in all the West, the interest for Asian art is very old. It goes back to the Roman Empire with the beginning of the Silk Road, and even more recently, during the 20th century, many painters came from Asia to Paris to study Western paintings, and they created this beautiful movement, East meets West.
Wow, sounds like you really know your history. Now, speaking of your family, how have they influenced you to pursue this career? Did they ever pressure you into it, or were you just naturally surrounded by it and you wanted to do it yourself?
It's a very good question. My parents were very liberal. They never pushed me in any way. They were both passionate, traveling the world to see their clients and look for treasures. And most of the time they were taking me with them. And when I finished university, I quite naturally joined the family business to give it a try. 25 years after, I'm still there, so happily.
That's good. Now, it seems like you're very passionate about it. Which one is your favorite piece in your collection?
At the moment, it might be the head of Buddha just in front of us. It's coming from one of my favorite fields, which is Greco-Buddhist art. They are the first ever representation of the Buddha. They originate from what is now Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Okay.
At this head, worth between 3 and 4 million Hong Kong dollar, because it's very beautiful, it's very big. You can see it's a religion that speaks of inner peace, benevolence, and serenity. That's what an artwork should do. You should be able to feel the emotion that the artist tried to express, even if it was 2,000 years ago.
Now, speaking of selling, how do you go about determining the value of an antique? Like, how do you appraise it?
It's a key question in our business to price the artwork. We can have an idea of the piece mostly by comparison with other pieces. So I could explain why a smaller head is cheaper, why a broken head is cheaper, why a full sculpture will be more expensive. But there is no real explanation why a Gandhara is more expensive than porcelain from the 18th century. This is just offer and demand.
Apart from being an experienced antique collector, Antoine is also a director of his family-owned gallery, dedicated to building paths for people around the globe to get to know more about Asian antiques.
Now, Antoine, can you tell us about your work as a director of an art gallery? Like, what is the day in the life for you?
As an art gallery director, there is, well, I'm a dealer, so it's divided half and half between the buying and the selling. Whether I'm in our large Paris gallery or in the office in Hong Kong, whenever I have bought a piece, I will take time to study it, check the possible restoration, possibly do more restoration myself, have it pictured, make a description for cataloging. And I spend a lot of time in old books trying to find if the piece has been published before, to find it's called the provenance, it's the history of the artwork. And the more you know, the easier for it is to sell. And the rest of the time is focused on the selling, which is organizing exhibition, either on our space, this little one in Hong Kong, or the large gallery in Saint-Germain-des-Prés in Paris. And I also take care of some collectors who are much more involved and require more time and more guidance. So I spend a lot of time with them trying to understand what they look for and help them in building their collection or museum.
I feel inspired by it. Thank you for sharing with us today.
My pleasure.
As people, we all see things differently. But from today's experience, I learned a lot because I saw things from Antoine's perspective. I feel like this cultural exchange through antiques was pretty fun and different.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. If you want to find out more about what we've introduced, remember to log on to our website. In the coming weeks, let's explore the path to a sweeter life. Join us to savor seasonal delights from around the globe. Check out ways to stay healthy and look gorgeous. Keep up with the latest trend in every aspect of life. And connect with inspiring people from different backgrounds. Be sure to tune in again next time to live your best life.